This is a presentation of DirecTV, exclusive home of the Red Zone channel, the Fantasy Zone, the Dan Patrick Show, 20 years of NFL Sunday Ticket, the Rich Eisen Show, and America's premier source for sports television.
Oh, and the runner coughs it up. The defense falls on it. Looks like it's the big man, Smith. Touchdown.
Smith ties this one up late, and he certainly is enjoying his moment.
Oh, Smith is showing off that Mormon flair he was known for during his 3 years at BYU.
Are those pamphlets, Mike?
Indeed they are, John, and Smith may not let up anytime soon. It looks like he's celebrating all the way to Santiago, Chile, where it appears he's already arrived and started his 2-year mission.
Now, I'd be surprised if we don't see a flag here.
Not sure about that. The league has no problem or compunction about religious celebration.
Right you are, and it looks like we may be here for a while. So in the meantime, here's an episode of The Box Score, and it starts right now.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Coward for Box Score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles, joined by the Danettes out in Milford, Connecticut. Great show today, guys. Good subjects, good guest. Paulie, you seem to be focused on getting DP in a good mood. Shouldn't that be your goal every day?
No, it should not. That's the thing. I would say it happens once a month, to be fair. Interesting timing. Once a month, to be fair, Dan comes in a bad mood. And you never know why. And sometimes you don't ask why, because you can't solve the problems. But I looked at Seton probably 5 or 10 minutes into the show. And I think it was second segment or first segment. I talked a little more than I normally would. I'm a little chatty, but I kind of pressed the issue. And I looked at Seton and I go, hey man, let's press this towards the fun zone. He goes, I'm all with you.
Yeah, there was definitely like all right, let's start really laughing it up here and fake laughing these things into Danny in a good mood here, because it was just sour. And usually, you try to like stay out of Dan's way for the first segment or two and like let him get his bearings or something. But it was like, we just got to jump in and start having fun.
And it's weird because Dan, maybe a minute before the show, came up to me and asked me a question about what the lead topic was. And he knew what the lead topic was today. But it's one of those things where his mind was on something that it was like stuck in his craw, you know? And he wasn't like, he couldn't shake it. That happens to all of us. We have family situations, personal situations, work situations. But it's one of those where I looked at Seton and I go, hey man, we're going to turn this thing. It's like turning a boat, though, in a different direction. It doesn't turn real quick. It turns like a barge. It takes maybe 45 minutes. But if you notice at the end of the show, and I might be jumping your clip here, he yelled at Seton for not being in a good mood because Dan was in a great mood. And I credit that to kind of the entire room pushing it that way.
We do not have that clip. I can confirm that. Fritzy, Johnny Bench called in today and cheered him up. Do you want to take credit for cheering Dan up today?
I can't take credit for that. I wish I could. It was an uninvited guest, but a very it was just great that he called in. I know Dan looks up to from his Cincinnati days, looks up to Johnny Bench. He always calls him the greatest catcher of all time, which is hard to argue. And for Bench to call in one of his idols back in the days in Ohio, and that he was listening to his interview with Joel Klatt of Fox Sports, and he wanted to weigh in on concussions. That I don't know. He's always great on the air, and that definitely helped cheer Dan up. But hopefully, way before Johnny came on the air, he was already starting to turn that barge corner where I think he was starting to get into a better mood even before
Brock,
that.
I couldn't have scripted that any better. When Fritzy told me Johnny Bench called in and wants to talk, I'm like, is this a freaking joke? I mean, what's next? Hank Aaron and Jerry West are going to call in to talk some hoops and some baseball. Dan, these are 3 of his 4 favorite athletes of all time, if you include Pete Maravich. And I was just sitting there going, you know what? Sometimes you get lucky in life, and you just accept luck.
It was a little awkward though to have Johnny Bench, it's legend, on hold while we were all arguing about who was in a bad mood.
Yeah.
That was kind of embarrassing, actually. Probably more so for Dan than it was for me, but or for all of us, really. But it was like, oh yeah, crap, Johnny Bench is on hold right now. He just heard that.
McLovin even whispered to me like while Bench was on hold. He was like shocked that we were still continuing on, and then I think added fuel to the fire by jumping on what Seton said. And that you gave me kind of an attitude before the show started as well. And then McLovin turns to me and he's like, "Has Johnny Bench been on hold all this time? Is he gonna hang up? Like maybe we should like go to this." And
he's a fan of the show. He's just listening through a different speaker.
What did Johnny first say? He's like, "Dan, you got to get your guys in order there." Because Johnny Bench was a tough guy. He's like, "What a bunch of whiners."
Nice.
Well, a man that may have caused some concussions, Warren Sapp, the U, called in, and DP got him to open up about coaches he did not care for.
It was just one of those respect things, and I never got it from him. And when I walked into his office at the end of the year and told him what I thought of his team, he was like, I was like, what do you say? I said, you walked around this team all year long and say, do what we do. I said, what is that? He said, lose. I said, whoa. I said, I didn't expect that from you, but I said, let me explain this to you. I said, what we did in Tampa with your father, I said, we established a defensive presence, and that's why we say do what we do. Say, whenever you say that in front of your team again, at least know what that is. He had no idea what do what we do is, and he used to say it to us every week. Let's do what we do. And I'm like, what is that?
Lose.
Exactly. That's what he said at the end. Lose. I said, wow.
We're just talking about. I have trouble understanding exactly what Warren Sapp is saying because of his expressions. Like, he threw in one of those, like, giddy Warren Sapp laughs, and then he started saying, he's like, what? Oh, yeah. He's so dramatic. He's so unbelievably dramatic. It's like, hey, Warren, what did you go order at the deli today? Well, I had a corned beef sandwich. You know, because that's what I do. I order corned beef sandwiches. But his content is great, and that was so cool about Lane Kiffin, because when he said it, you're like, oh, my God, which coaches is he talking about? But it's the way he delivers it, too, kind of, I guess it makes it better. And then
it's funny.
Yeah.
But if Dad asks a question about, should John Gruden leave Monday Night Football to, go back to the Raiders, and he'll say something, like, Dan, I know, possum in the cornfield. Like, we're supposed to understand what that means. Like, there's just no way of understanding what that could possibly
And he'll laugh at the most random times, and you don't know if the laugh means, like, yeah, you're right, or it's so obvious, or like that. He's like, that was the worst year of my life.
You kidding me? You kidding me?
Good game of men. We're talking about frisbees through the trees. What?
Toss him in the cornfield. That's Goodfellas for sure. All right. Paulie, which former pro has been the most candid with DP over the years?
Warren's pretty much up there. Former pro. I mean, Barkley's out the all-timer. There's some other guys like John Smoltz who are pretty candid. David Farady's really candid about his personal history.
Michael Irvin, Paul?
Yeah, Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, not so much anymore, but maybe 10 years ago. John Daly, though. John Daly, every time he's on, we learn something. We're just like, oh, my goodness. Same with Jerry West. But John Daly, I'd say, has told us stuff where you're just like, your jaw drops.
I think Fritzy took the lead from DP and got him a taste of his own medicine as he got the boss to tell this story about his days as a DJ, a long-distance dedication.
Do you ever have women waiting outside after your shift or calling the hotline because they're all into your breathy voice?
Yes, yeah. Had a bad experience. I loved her voice and she loved mine, and then we met. It wasn't good. I don't know if I thought she was ugly or she thought I was uglier, but we were pretty much in the same boat. I think we were repulsed by each other. But I will say this, when she said, hey, I think I made a mistake. She did say it with a very nice voice. Very sweet voice. Yeah.
I love when Dan shares those stories, and we often make little left turns throughout the show, but it's always entertaining. And just a picture of Dan spinning records, and some woman's waiting for him based on the sound of his voice, outside the radio studios, or someone calls the hotline, and next thing you know, they're talking to each other, and they're both impressed with each other's voices, and then it doesn't match up as far as visually what the attractiveness. I just love stuff like that. And my question, I didn't expect to get such a great answer out of the question I posed, but I'm glad I asked it because it was entertaining.
It's amazing to me. Dan's won the Marconi's, won all these big awards, but in many ways he still is that 20-something-year-old DJ in Dayton. That's to me, it's a big part of who he is.
Yeah. You know what? I think the I-Team, now, I'm surprised we haven't done this before. We should put a full court press to try to get some Dan FM DJ on-air material. I did know a guy he worked with, and he sent me some pictures of Dan like playing softball with a mullet and jean shorts. If I could remember that guy's email, I'm going to try to. I think the I-Team is going to get on this one.
Basically, just an old episode of WKRP in Cincinnati.
It does. It looks like WKRP. There's no Lonnie in.
Do they keep? I mean, see, you might know this. Do they keep archives of shows like that?
There's actually people who are really dedicated to that kind of thing, and archiving air checks, and it's like a whole internet thing.
Yeah.
People just have libraries of tapes. But you could probably track one down. That's going to be a little bit of a needle in the haystack, finding Dan, some random rock station back in the day. That's going to be a tough one, but it's possible. It's definitely possible.
All right, there might be an air check of me somewhere out there saying 96.5 KLS, Amarillo, Texas. Okay, coming up, Paulie cooked something up for the boss today. We will see how that went after this. Welcome back to the Box Score. Paulie, it seems like you've come up with a new game every day this week. Are you up for a review?
I don't know if I've ever had a review. No, just trying to have some fun, mix it up. I literally, Seton could back me up on this one. We were in the middle of our second segment of the show today. I go, ooh, I got a bit I really want to do. I go, I need like 8 minutes to write it up. And during a show, you don't really have 8 minutes to write it up. So I kind of just put it together, a little spit and polish.
Well, let's see how that Royal versus Royal went today.
Kicked ass.
Prince Merkwin. And by the way, I'm pronouncing 90% of these wrong. Sultan Qaboos. I love that name. That should be a...
I'm going to go with Royal Family.
This is a tough one. Christian Cologne the 5th.
Is it Cologne or is it Cologne?
There's no accents or umlauts.
I'll go Kansas City Royal.
He is, and he wasn't the 5th. I just added that to make you think he was famous or royal.
Okay.
Jorge or just George Chupo.
I'm going to go Royals.
There's a lot of like little accents and umlauts and things over there.
Excellent, thank you. All right, one more. We kind of get it.
Nori Aoki. Nori Aoki.
I'm going to go Kansas City Royal.
Whereas I'll feel Emperor Ahikito.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
I'm going to give Paulie an A for the effort here on this one. It was fun. May also be a half and then half situation. I don't know that we needed 15 of them. But it was fun nonetheless.
I was disappointed.
Why?
When Paulie has a game, usually it's like a good trivia game, and you get to think about it and show your sports knowledge.
But the fact that he threw it together on the fly, he came to him, and while he's producing the show, to also put a bit together, and he's feeding stuff in Dan's ear and everything else that he's doing. You know, you got to give him some credit.
Aren't you too busy telling us how important your job is to tell us how important Paul's job is?
See, that's not necessary. Although I did get caught looking at it.
I'm surprised Fritzy even heard.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
my Lord.
Brock, I'm surprised Fritzy remembers my bit at all because during one of our commercial breaks, we're all busy during the commercial breaks, Broccoli.
I'm not saying, I never said that they're not busy.
Hold on. Don't get defensive. I was asking Seton and McLovin about a topic.
They still won't
and I
tell
go,
me what
Fritzy,
the
what do you
question
think?
was.
And he goes, I don't know what you guys are talking about, even though he's sitting right there. He was literally watching some type of sexual relations scene with two popular actresses,
Sofia Vergara and Sharon Stone apparently have an interesting scene in a new movie coming out. Excuse me, Todd, that somehow he's got like some random, it's on YouTube, but it's filmed like with a cell phone of a screen watching this thing. And I was hitting a golf ball, and I just happened to look at Todd's screen and saw this happening graphically, and I was like, dude, what are you watching? Right. And I sort of spit that out and didn't really mean to call out Todd for watching, pornography while at work. And it really, once the cat's out of the bag there, you can't.
There was no nudity or anything. It was a clean version. But the reason why I was looking is earlier in the show, I think it was during one of the breaks we were talking about.
So you're saying there's a reason, you're saying there is a reason you were not doing your job and watching that.
We were talking about what, if you could be in like one scene in a movie, what would that be? And I was thinking of, Rocky or Bad News Bears.
This is a movie you haven't seen yet.
It's not even out yet.
Yeah. That you say that'd be your dream cameo of all time movies. Straight to video.
Yeah, I may have Googled. I was thinking Wild Things with Neve Campbell and Denise.
Well, this makes a lot more sense because
just to see what movie I'd want to be in.
Another break, I was also back at the golf simulator, and I noticed Todd sort of going through his stuff and clicked very quickly off of another very interesting paused video. It's like, dude, what in the hell are you doing back there? And Andrew, are you okay?
The good thing, though, our IT department, Alan, is buying a new car because he's fixing Fritzy's computer.
I don't know why the screen keeps turning blue.
Fritzy never realizes why his computer's all jacked up.
It's really frustrating, the blue screen with the white letters and all
Malware.
Yeah, his nickname's Malware.
Thought I had all the antivirus things all set up, but...
You're pro-virus.
Okay, yeah.
Norton antivirus.
Fritzy, I want to give you a heads up. There are like 11 cameras in there, so just maybe bring it down a notch.
I know, I should know better.
Okay, after this, it's Know Your Porn. No, it's Know Your Row. Welcome back to the Box Score. Fritzy, a question. When you're not looking at YouTube porn with Sofia Vergara and Sharon Stone, do you ever take time out of the day to look at the wall of morale?
I have, as many times as I've glanced at it, yeah, sure. That's why it's the wall of morale. If you're, not in a great mood or whatever, or something's bringing you down, a guest cancels, or the phone line got messed up with a guest, or a myriad of other things that can go wrong, you just take a look over at the wall of morale, cheers you right up.
I think it was a yes/no question.
Yes, okay. The man from Sheepshead Bay and the filibuster. Okay, the wall can lift anyone's spirit, so we wanted to know if you knew what your row partner's favorite cover was. So how about we find out as we play.
Wow.
Know your row!
This is real tough.
Are we cheating now?
Let's begin in the front row. Seton, who did Paulie say was his favorite cover?
Wow, why did you have to start with me?
This is tough for Seton because for different days I pick different people.
Oh boy, this is brutal. This is excruciating. Is it Marissa Miller?
I know.
Is it Brooklyn Decker? Or is it, who's this young lady?
Tough choice, though.
Veronica Varakova. I'm going to say it's... No, there's no way you remember that name.
No. Wow.
Veronica Varakova.
Was it Veronica Varakova?
Elle Macpherson. Respect the legend.
Oh, of course. I didn't even see her up there. She just blended in. Of course. Of course it's Elle Macpherson. What was I thinking?
To the back row. Fritzy, which cover does it for McLovin?
I'm going to say that McLovin went with Kate Upton.
Was it Kate Upton in a Honda Accord?
The one that I had on my in my room was Elle Macpherson. The one where she has that black, like sort of thick suit that she's unzipping. I don't know why she's unzipping it, but I'm all for it. Kate Upton, I'm old school.
Elle Macpherson.
I'm your
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed Elle Macpherson. That might have been my fourth or fifth guess.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought you liked the voluptuousness of Kate.
Elle is
Nothing against Elle.
exactly, yeah.
Front row, you are up. Paulie, who did Seton choose?
I'm almost 100% sure he picked Marissa Miller.
Was it Marissa Miller?
Oh my God, dude, I love Yamila Seisels, bro. I do. I love her. Yeah, Yamila Diaz Rahi, whatever. Oh, Yamila Seisels for short. Spectacular. Probably riding a horse bareback somewhere in Chile. It's like the best thing ever.
A whole other life, that young lady. She's spectacular.
I knew you liked her, but I heard you talk more in the past about Marissa Miller, not just the cover, but more when she came on the set that you were like, that girl's awesome.
Oh, yeah, Marissa Miller's rad. She's spectacular. But really, I mean, ask me tomorrow, it'll be a totally different one. Truth be told, I was sort of like, I wonder what I said here. Could have been anything.
Okay, for the win. Back row McLovin, who sends Fritzy running to the medicine cabinet?
This is so
This
easy.
is the easiest one ever.
So easy.
Please don't let me down.
This is the easiest one ever.
Can we steal?
I would say 12-way tie, and I was tempted to say Brooklyn Decker because Fritzy's really tight with her.
She did do the bucket challenge.
But since I'm descendant of the Hebrew tribes, and so is Todd Fritz, we're going to set the bar high with Raffaele. Todd Raffaele.
High cheekbones. Jewish.
Okay, let's see. Was it Bar Raffaele?
Favorite swimsuit model? You know what? I'm going to go Bar Raffaele. It's a tough choice, and there's some gorgeous ones there, and ones in some very interesting poses. But something about Bar, those high cheekbones and the cute little freckles, and she's got the whole Israeli thing going. So I'm going to go Bar. Yeah, that's they're all great, but something about those very circular high cheekbones. And
Todd, can I ask you a question?
freckles.
Do you think because you're a Jewish man and she's a Jewish woman that you have a better shot with her than the others?
Yes, I think
you
I have
do.
a great shot.
You think that way,
I think Bar would drop everyone, including her past conquests of Leonardo and anyone else. And if she could take
Leonardo is Catholic. You're Jewish. If she had to pick, where do you think she's going?
I think she's going to me every time. You know,
Todd's the keeper.
Sensitive,
Leonardo to the
sensitive needs to lose about 30 pounds. Balding, neurotic. I don't know what else you can.
Yeah, how could she pass?
Possibly a couple of phone numbers of some athletes. That's pretty much what all the women.
She has a
are
hard
looking
time
for.
getting those. Phone numbers of
That's a good
athletes.
point.
And you're getting her phone number whether she likes it or not.
Yeah, Bar. Bar. Yeah.
I'm going after that little nebbish boy. It's Todd Fritz. Congratulations to the back row. You win today. Still to come, who would these guys want to do play-by-play for their lives? We will ask them next.
Fritzy, who
Right through the wickets.
that was a Buckner-like moment there.
Return shot. No, it's off. It is off the right inner thigh. It is not a direct hit.
Revenge time.
First of all, it was a very soft hopper.
Welcome back to the Box Score Last Call. Classic moment when Bob Costas called that game a flinch ball for you guys. Let's go to some tape after the Know Your Row victory, and maybe you guys can help us break this down. What happened here?
The usual.
Me not paying attention. I feel terrible that I didn't see that he was looking to be on the receiving end of a high five. I totally blew him off, and it was unintentional. I got to work on my peripheral vision or
You
something.
have the coordination of a blind dance troupe.
It was very awkward, and I feel bad.
Even when you do see me, our high fives don't look
No,
great.
they don't.
Like we're at a bad angle.
Why don't you try not?
When
Pretend,
we- like, we
pretend you just
missed.
nailed something like, hey, Fritzy, you just said something great, and turn around to McLovin. Like, ready? You just said something great. Now turn to McLovin and high five him quick. There you go.
It's awkward. We'll practice it. We'll work on that. I didn't mean to leave you
See,
hanging.
you want to turn to your left, and I turn to my right.
That's also a grabber. He's an up-top grabber.
Yeah.
He's a hand
If
grabber.
Todd was sitting here on the
awkward.
left, and I was coming over from the right, we could meet over here.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's
McLovin,
like,
you're right-handed. You should defer to your right hand. Fritzy, you should come from the left and
come with the right
lefty,
hand.
though.
There you go.
Dad.
Look at that.
I prefer hugs anyway. It's just as awkward as the hugs can
Let's
be.
just do a turn and give me a right-handed high five.
Okay.
All right.
It's still kind of mixed.
But let's say you preferred hugs. Just Brock, spare me a moment.
All right.
Okay.
Let's say you had a great segment, Fritzy, and you want
And
to
then
turn
we
and hug
wanna
McLovin while sitting.
Okay.
Let's do it. Ready, go. All right, that's not bad. It's less
he
awkward
just
than high
caressed
five.
did.
my
I
hair.
caress his head.
I do that to my kids.
Well,
I
pat on
love
the
McLovin.
tuchus.
He knows that. We're close. We are. We're buds. You don't know what goes on under the desk.
Yeah, knowing what's on your computer screen, I don't want to know what goes on under the desk.
Oh, dude, what a bad day.
I think that's a great way to
Cameras,
end
too
the
many
show.
cameras
Bad
in here.
high fives and awkward hugs. So let's go to you, Fritzy. Please tell us who's on tomorrow.
Rich Eisen.
NFL, here goes Paul. He's ready to
Eisen.
jump on this because we only have one guest listed. NFL Network host, soon to be part of the, not part of, the star of the Rich Eisen Show beginning Monday. Shameless plug following the Dan Patrick Show. Rich Eisen of the NFL Network joins us from Lambeau, Vikings-Packers Thursday night.
Teddy Bridgewater.
There you go. And we'll see what else we can add to that. Friday, Al Leiter and Peter King in studio in the New York City Man Cave. I'm talking about Friday because I want to take away from the fact
Al
that we just have
Leiter.
Rich Eisen so far. for Thursday.
Former
90
Yankee.
seconds, at least.
And I should throw it back to Brock before we run out of
Let's go to you, Brock.
No, we ran out of time. Okay, thanks for watching the Box Score. Set your DVR or tune in weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern. We will be following the Rich Eisen show starting Monday, or you can catch our podcast on iTunes and podcast1.com. Thanks for watching, and go Royals.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer. My motto is simple.
C's get degrees.
Need a long and appropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the Box Score. Holy cow!
This was a presentation of DirecTV, exclusive home of the Red Zone channel, the Fantasy Zone, the Dan Patrick Show, 20 years of NFL Sunday Ticket, the Rich Eisen Show, and America's premier source for sports television.